Hello and welcome to round 4 of the Acelif Design Endurance Championship in the Group 4 class here at Laguna, Seca in Monterey, California. We are just starting qualifying. Our drivers are out on their outlaps, and tonight we have a bit of a mixed, a bit of a difference for once. For we have a mixed lobby. So that means that everyone in Tier 1 and Tier 2 will be driving together, and I will be doing my level best to make sure everyone is aware who is in Tier 1 and who is in Tier 2 tonight as we go through the running. But yes, so it's a little bit different here tonight, but we are looking forward to a different challenge for the drivers out there. Last time out in Tier 1 at least, we had a fantastic fight for the win between Bottle Job and Blue Racer down to the death, with Blue Racer taking the spoils in the McLaren 650S GT Group 3. Tonight, well, we don't know what's going to happen. We'll have two winners because Tier 2 and Tier 1 are going to race together, so positions are going to be a little bit complicated, and I will endeavour to keep everyone aware of what's kind of going on there and where the actual positions are. But I'm very aware that it's going to be a little bit confusing, so I will do my best to help everybody out to make sure they're aware who is where. But we will jump ahead to our Tier 1 winner last time out, who was of course Blue Racer 7 in a fine performance. Okay, good to know. Kamara letting us know that Jason will be back to take the start. We should be expecting 15 drivers in tonight. Jules is here. So yeah, back to Blue Racer. Sorry, I'm also running the room tonight, so there may be a few disturbances during the broadcast, just as we have to keep up with the important parts of running the lobby. But we will try and keep you in the action as much as possible. And talking of action, last week was another absolute thriller, going down to the last lap between Blue Racer and Bottle Job for the win. The Blue Racer getting it done, and we will be seeing what they can all do again in the Group 4 cars. Last time out in the Group 4 cars, though, it was this man, F1, who took a win at High Speed Ring, this time in the McLaren 650S Group 4. There's a lot of those tonight, and we've had a BOP change, it's worth noting, since that round and since this round. So some cars are going to be stronger, some are going to be weaker, and the McLaren is one of those cars which has got a little bit stronger within the class. But we will go through all the drivers. Jaggernaut would be one we're going to be keeping an eye on a lot. He is our current championship leader after 3 rounds. But of course, as always with ADEC, we have drop scores. This season will be 3 drop scores out of the 9 rounds. And Jaggernaut is hoping he'll be still at the top come the end of the 9th round and be able to take his maiden Tier 1 crown. But there's a lot of close fights in this title. We'll be looking through some drivers. Talking of drivers also in the championship fight, hopefully, Bottle Job, after missing round 1, so he's already dropped 1 score. He'll be pushing himself up the table and have 1 less score to worry about dropping. Of course, just narrowly beaten for P2, for the win last time, coming in P2. And of course, the race before that, narrowly beaten for P2, coming in P3. Currently, it is Luco in the Dodge Viper, setting the timing screens alight in the 127s. Luco, who's had a couple of kind of unfortunate rounds. Last time out, had a couple of errors of the Subaru that cost him the chance to fight for the victory, but has looked fast all season long, and we'll expect him to be pushing hard to try and secure at least his first pole position and maybe even his first win tonight. Jaggernaut currently in that P2 spot with Blue Racer just behind. And DJ Rice looking good there in P4 currently, 4 tenths effectively off pole position. And, could this be Ricey's chance to get himself up the points some more? Had a very consistent, as always, campaign so far. A little bit of lag there in the lobby, but I'm sure that will clear up. But yeah, very consistent, performer. We always know he's going to be in that mid-pack, and today we may see him pushing up that pack a little bit. Meanwhile, we've got F1, who's had a couple of interesting rounds. We found out after the race that he got caught out by a slight time mix-up with the start of the race and was stuck on the soft tyres for the start of the race, but still made it happen to get, I believe, P4 last time out. And we see F1 jumping up into that P2 spot. So, as always, F1 showing that pace, and we expect him to be doing that all the way through the race. Super consistent driver, super smooth driver. Hi guys who are watching, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, we've got that mixed grid tonight, so we'll be talking through that a little bit later on. Check out P3 Blue Racer. So we'll go over to Vlave. Vlave, who's had a couple of good performances, but also a couple of small errors, have cost him some big points. And of course, round one, where he got really kind of messed over by a lobby issue, which meant he got damaged from an invisible car, effectively. So Vlave hoping to bounce back up the points. Gone through a bottle job. We'll go down to Dennis now, who was the highest placed of our Tier 2 entrants. And you'll be able to tell the difference between the Tier 2 and the Tier 1 guys from the blue tier boards and blue tier markings on the back and the sun strip of the car. So you'll be able to see that fairly clearly. You can see the blue door boards there. So Dennis looking good there in P9 currently in the Megane. Megane should be a little bit stronger here than it was at high speed rate. So Dennis there coming around again and finishing an improving lap up to 7th position. And we have Forzy in the Silvia. Now the Silvia is an interesting car, very light, and we expect it to be, fairly decent round here. Definitely one of the more probably quite suited to this track, and also very suited to taking care of its tyres. Whether or not Forzy can get the absolute maximum out of that car right now, we'll have to see. He's currently in the 130s, but definitely we could be seeing maybe a surprise strategy from a car like the Silvia, which is very light. And we've got Mark GT83, who took his first pole position in Tier 2 last time out. So he'll be hoping for to continue on that good form. Currently in P11 in the Aston Martin. We've got H-Boss currently in P2, going deep into the corkscrew there. He's had an unfortunate couple of races in a row now, hoping to get himself back into the... Oh! As we see a big hit into the wall there. Very unfortunate mistake there from H-Boss, but he'll recover that back to the pits. And we've got Haldit. Oh, making a small mistake there in the Supra. You'll see a lot of McLarens and Supras tonight. Those are very much the preferred cars at the moment. He'll be off those tyres and onto a set of softs soon. We've got Kamaru in the Silvia as well. Kamaru, who may be one of those drivers trying a slightly different strategy. He's not expecting himself to have particularly great pace tonight, by his own admission. As we see Dennis up to P2 now in that Megane trophy. I said it would be a good car. What a lap there by Dennis. Of course, he's not actually racing the guys in Tier 1, so he's currently on pole for Tier 2. And that will count as a pole position. And we'll make sure, as best as possible to get hold of that best lap time that he does. Yep, Dennis will get the points for best lap in Tier 2. It's a really great job there by Dennis. You know, he's up there mixing it with the Tier 1 guys, really showing off. But we'll jump back to Kamaru. Kamaru, who is not a fan of this circuit and has had an unfortunate week in terms of his health. So we hope that King Kim is feeling a bit better. Maybe he's been watching some of his favourite videos by Slingshot Chairberg to keep his spirits up. And we've got Jules taking a last minute position on the grid to make sure that he can secure himself a few more points. As we see Blue Racer now up to the P1 spot with a 27.5. Of course, we're going to see time starting to drop as the guys get rid of some of that fuel. And we may start to see some of the more established Tier 1 names coming through to the front. With Blue Racer now up into the P1 spot. The Supra was one of those cars that's had a small nerf, which I think will more affect it in race pace than qualifying trim. Blue Racer, who has had an unfortunate last showing around this track back in 2021. Probably had the fastest package on the day, but unfortunately met an unfortunate mistake in the Toyota TS050 onto the sand, and an unfortunate error. Cost himself a lot of points that day. Hopefully Blue will be able to keep his car off the sand, not go to the beach. And we'll see how Blue does. He'll go 3/10 off that pole position time at the moment, but he has got damage currently, so he'll be coming into the pits for for a new set of tyres and to fix that damage. Dennis still in P3, F1 in P4 with Jack just behind. It is Bottle Job, who's currently the car a little bit out of position. We'd expect him further up the grid. Of course, last time out started from, I believe, P3, or possibly P2 actually. So a little bit of work to be done there by the British driver. And he's pulling away. Keeping an eye on all the drivers through the field. Don't want to just stay with the top. Don't want to just stay with the top guys. So as we just check over, make sure that everything's still on schedule. No unexpected delays at all. But like I said, as we drive around with H-Boss, who's currently setting the purple purple in the first sector, we'll ride on board with the Lamborghini driver. So we head down now to the deceptively late apexing turn 4, or turn 5 officially. That's turn 1 into double apex. So we head up into what I believe is Rainy, or maybe Ray Hall, I can't remember which way around it is, but the very difficult left-hander. Now up towards the fearsome corkscrew, braking hard down into second gear, throws it over the cliff and powers hard out of the corner. Of course, he's got four-wheel drive in that Lamborghini. He's 2 seconds up on his own best, so this should see him comfortably into the 29s, maybe even down into a high 28. Oh, not unfortunate little error there. Curse of the in-car camera, I believe, as we sling it through the final corner. Plants the throttle with the four-wheel drive to kick him out the corner, and that is a 29.1. If he can keep that off the grass or off the sand, I think that's a great chance for a good lap time. Just gonna let the drivers know. jump back up to R. As you see, Dennis has backed out of the qualifying fight. He's gone back into his race start tyres. It's currently look like Blue Racer is going to be well and truly going to be setting that pole position lap time for now. Like I say, hi guys who are watching. Let us know what you think. Let us know who you think is going to win in Tier 1 and in Tier 2 tonight. Of course, we've got Dennis up there with a fantastic P3 at the moment. Fantastic work from Dennis in the McGann Trophy. Let us know who you think is going to win. Jaganat down in P6 at the moment. Ricey pumping in a 27.9. So puts himself on the second row of the grid. Of course, he is a Tier 1 driver, so that is a legitimate P3. Not a P1 or P2 in Tier 2 that we're going to have to keep an eye on tonight. But like I said, I'll quickly run through, make sure everyone's aware. So Blue Racer will be Tier 1, Luco is Tier 1, Ricey is Tier 1, Dennis is Tier 2, F1 is Tier 1, Jaganat is Tier 1, Bacchus is Tier 1, Glaive is Tier 1, Bottle is Tier 1, Kamaru is Tier 2, H-Boss is Tier 1, Mark is Tier 2, Forzy is Tier 1, Jason is Tier 2, and Jules, who is... Oh, we'll hide that before anyone sees poor Jules' demise, is in Tier 2. As we're getting towards the end of qualifying, everyone's going to be putting in their last set of tyres as Blue Racer decides to go, well, playing in the sand, I think. But Luca now a little bit down on his own personal best, but can he find something special on this final lap? Of course, set a good 27.8 on lap 7 after a 27.8 on lap 3, so he'll be hoping to just improve a little bit. Maybe he made a small mistake on that lap and he's going to be hoping to be pushing forward. See a lot of the drivers now. Themselves ready. Going to be ready to go any second. Doesn't look like we've got any improvements coming. So here we go. I'll be just ready to start the race any second. So apologies for the slight cutaway from the action. Hi guys, good to see you all. As we're just about ready to start. Here we go. So we'll have confirmation. Hey Craig, good to see you. So we will be jumping in. Of course, we are going to be having a rolling start tonight. We'll ignore the slight issues that we've seen. But it is Blue Racer on pole. Wow, I feel honoured, Craig, to have you to be on the big screen. As Halder has dropped out. That's really unfortunate. No idea why that would be. Unfortunately, due to the kind of issues with. I guess my invisible car is also being included. So, Blue Racer, unchallenged into Tier 1. No, Turn 1, sorry. Of course, everyone having to run to rolling start due to issues with that is indeed an interesting glitch. But we'll see. Oh, Dennis goes for an absolute slide job in there. I wonder what tyres Dennis is on. He's on the hards. Blue Racer makes it through. Luco, then Dennis. Pushing. Remember, guys, you don't need to fight into tier. F1 in P5. Jaganat in P6. And we're not seeing that domination that we may have expected from the McLaren's car, which has been so strong at most tracks, but here it seems to be a little bit struggling. Just making sure everyone got through cleanly. Yep, we're all good. So, we'll head back up to the top. if Luca can... Oh, Dennis, after that fantastic start, runs himself into the gravel. He's going to be... Got dirt all over his tyres, but he's got a comfortable... Oh, unfortunate incident there. Both cars come away without damage, but Dennis has just got to gather himself up. He's still got a long way to the next Tier 2 driver, so he just needs to keep his cool. Just made a little error there. He's now got dirt on the tyres, so he just needs to be careful. So we'll jump back up with the leaders. So we see Blue Racer out into the gravel. This will give Luca the run. The run on board with the Welsh driver. Unfortunate error there by Blue. So we see, will Blue try and hold it all the way around the outside? There's a lot of marbles out there though. And it is Luca up into P1. Blue Racer will be ruining that early error. We've seen this before from Blue at Laguna. He does make small errors. He's just got to keep him cool. Don't let it fluster him, and he'll be just fine. DJ Rice in an excellent P3 at the moment. F1, best of the McLarens. Jagger in P5 at the moment. Tight battle here. As we see Dennis is falling back further. I think maybe he's just taking the time to get himself... Indeed, Craig, indeed. Be good to see a Welsh driver up on top of the podium. Dennis falling back, but he's still in P1, remember, of his class. As we'll head back up with the lead battle, as we see... Oh, actually, I say that, as we see H-Boss moving up to P7 now, ahead of Sir Bottlejob. Expect Sir Bottlejob just went a little bit wide through Rainy Curve. I think that's Rainy Bend. No, this is Rainy, I think, and I think the corner before is Rahal. So I do apologise. As H-Boss having a good race so far in P7. Bottlejob all over the place at the moment. Has to keep that McLaren a little bit more planted than that. Good work. Everybody so far, this track is famously difficult. As we see the two Silvias at the back. Mark there, looking good, trying to shape up a move on Kimara. Of course, these two fighting for position. Kimara in second place currently of Tier 2. Doing a good job on those medium tyres. So Kim's going for a shorter stint maybe at the start. However, tyre life here is a bit interesting. You can actually get quite... Oh, Kimmer! Oh, as I was just saying, he was doing a good job. Runs very wide, but great job saving it. Does drop the position, but he'll have the faster tyre for now. He's just going to keep his cool. As we jump back up the grid, as we see a nice little fight here between Bacchus, who's looking really feisty at the moment. That McGann looking quick around this track. Definitely with a chance there to be doing some good there in that car on the hard tyres. And Bacchus, who's been really really punchy in this season, you know, really taking the chance to kind of move forward. As we see Blue back into the lead and pulling away. I think Luca's made a mistake. Yeah, he's definitely made a mistake. That's unfortunate. Indeed, Craig. Indeed. So Luca making an early mistake in the Demon Tweaks car. Unfortunate little error, but he'll still be able to recover. And Ricey now is looking quick. Did a 1:30.4 on that last. That was a very nice lap. I think Blue may have had to have a little bit of a evasive manoeuvre. We'll see what he can do with that 31.4. He's half a second up on his best, so there's definitely pace there. Will Blue now be trying to just pull away? He's done this before. He's very much a driver who is really good once he's out front by himself. But if you put him under too much pressure, sometimes that can cost him little errors. And Ricey with a real shot here at a potential Tier 1 victory. You know, Ricey's been in this game a long time. You know, he's seen a lot of drives. He's made all the... Oh, as Luca runs wide again. He's made, you know... He's learned all the battles. He's learned what to do. Maybe this is his time to at least be on that podium, but maybe even in with a victory here. But Blue looking really strong here. And most importantly for him, a lot of his rivals like Janganat, Bottlejob and F1 not massively high up the order right now. Luco also one of those drivers in with a chance of that tier one fight if they go on a bit of a tear. Of course, 9 races this season, and we do have the tuning rounds at the end of the season, which Blue Racer has said won't favour him personally. And yeah, Ricey is looking quick at the moment. Really good work. Up in those 30.7s. Really got a good chance before he's dropped out. Absolutely, yeah, Ricey's been really good in everything he's been driving. Really got that consistency down. Of course, had an upgrade in his... Oh, no, I'm incorrect there, actually. I don't think he went for the DD Pro in the end. I think he's still on the Fanatec system for the CSL Elite. But, really looking good at the moment. And, there's a chance here. All he's got to do is pressure Blue, make sure he doesn't take too much out of his tyre or his fuel. Now, that Jag... If he's not shifting at the right point, which is 6,500 revs, he may suffer with a little bit of fuel burn there. Luco in the Viper. No, I didn't think so. Craig, thanks for confirming. Oh, and Luco pushing a little bit wide on F1. Always the opportunist sneaks through for P3. And this is what F1 does. He's one of those sneaky characters, blisteringly fast, massively consistent, doesn't make a lot of errors, and is very, very opportunistic. He saw that move, he got it done decisively, he got it through, and that's a podium now for F1. As we see Luco with a problem. Don't know what's gone on there. Luco completely out of this now. No idea what's occurred. That's one of our contenders out. Ricey still with Blue. This is fantastic work from Ricey. Yeah, really unfortunate there, Forzy. Jag in P4. Yeah, no idea what's happened with Luco. He looks so strong at the start. Meanwhile, H-Boss is looking really good today. Now that Huracan, he's struggled with some of the higher power cars, but this four-wheel drive Lamborghini has made him, really bolt up the order. He's currently got the best lap time in the field. Of course, that may be a little bit slipstream. Oh, but a big dive there, having a look at Bacchus. Thought he might have had the run. Civil job just behind. Oh, as we have a car off. Who? Oh no, I think it may just be Luco still currently. Luco has backed out now. That's very unfortunate. Hopefully we'll find out from Luco what's happened. As Ricey looks like he might have made an error. No, just Blue's kind of pushed his pace up a little bit. Getting into the 30.4s. F1 in P3, jagging it up to P4 of course, now past oh of course Luco backing out, so everyone pulls up a spot as we see Bottle having made a mistake. Luco, that is a really unfortunate problem. That's gutting to hear. We've been hearing about these issues with screen freezes in the game, and it's really unfortunate to see that has cost someone. Luco having made a great start, unfortunately has an issue there. Dennis in P10, of course still leading in Tier 2. Oh no, he's not. Kamaru's leading now in Tier 2. Fantastic drive from a man who thought he wasn't going to be doing very well. Really consistent work so far on those medium tyres. Oh, but he's a little bit... No, he gets it turned in nicely. Really good work. But it's Bottle now down in P9. Really struggling. So we're back on board with Blue and Ricey. Blue just pulling that gap a little bit more. For 30.7. 30.9 for Ricey. So just dropping a couple of tenths per lap. With F1 having made a mistake on that last lap. you can see at 32.7. Does he have dirt on those tyres? You can see Jaganat trying to kind of push on. And then he's got the other Welsh driver in Bacchus right up behind him. So he's going to have to be careful. He can't really push fully. His only advantage is that McGann is... Oh, as we see Bacchus go for a bit of a dive there. I think Bacchus will back off there and just drop back in. A little bit of a poor judgment move there. And that's going to cost them both a little bit of time against F1. But Bacchus with another run at it. And those trophies look quick. Jagannet decides to back out of it. Lets Bacchus have it. And Bacchus is now going to chase after F1, I think. Because Jagannet knows, you know, at this point in the race, a little bit more pace. I hope, Luca, you stick around to watch. But yeah. Interested to see who you think is going to have the pace here. You need best lap from Blue Racer, and we've seen this quite often with the hard tyre. You know, it lasts a very long time. And it's a very durable compound. He's still staying with him. F1 now setting the fastest lap of the race. So here comes the F1 kind of pace that we expect to see so often. Pulling away quite comfortably from Bacchus at this point. But whilst he had a mistake last lap, F1's kind of switched it on now. Of course, the problem for the McLarens is they are very fuel thirsty. They're all going to be quite high on that fuel usage, especially compared to the Toyotas, which are very, very, very... Fozzie, stick with it. Of course, there's only 2 more rounds until we go for the tuning races, and they may allow you to fix those cars, which you feel like aren't particularly good at this time. So keep at it. You'll find something. Ricey in P2, 2.668. He's had a little bit of a mistake this lap, I think, which is why he's dropping off the back. F1 now really starting to flex the muscles. No, it's just Blues pulling away at quite a rate of knots now, kind of settled into the groove. And we'll see if he continues with this. Of course, this track, though, is one of those tracks which really does bite, as we see a bit of a graphical error there with some smoke where it should be. Kind of not there. Bacchus doing a great job in P4. P5 for Jag at the moment. H-Boss really doing a great job actually this time out. 6th place. You know, should get some really strong points this time out. Should help himself leap up the order, especially with some of the other kind of midfield drivers not here. I think Senna and Gadget, and, that top of the midfield not being here, really gives him a chance to get some points over those around him. Kimmo doing a great job with Dennis right up behind. Of course, Bottle Job is actually in 8th position when it comes to Tier 1. Mark in P11. Jules currently bringing up the back. Still will get good points because there's such a limited field tonight. Back at the front with Blue, who sets himself a new best lap time again. So as the fuel's coming off, those tyres still giving good grip. Ricey in P2. Settling down in those mid-30s. F1 also just in the low 30s. He might start to pick up the pace a bit though. we'll see what happens. Oh, very deep though through that. That will cost him a little bit of time. Backus in P4, still holding off Jaganat. Right on board with a great run there from the Huracan. But just not enough time to make something happen with it. But here we go. Will H-Boss go for the move? Into the corkscrew. No, he doesn't this time. Lines through that. I believe the rules for changing multiple cars are explained, I believe, in the race articles, Forzy, if you want to take a look. But I believe it's I believe if you want to do a full swap or a multiple car swap, there are certain extra kind of penalties to deter you. I believe you drop your I think it's your best score times the number of cars you change. So it is fairly crippling in terms of your points for the next season, but it may allow you to have a little bit more enjoyment. You just may be unfortunate with that one there. DJ Rice in P2. Still looking really strong. Oh no, Craig, that's fine. Not a problem, buddy. Like I say, thank you very much for helping out, Forzy, in the comments. Like I say, I haven't brushed up on them myself fully in terms of that particular wording, because whilst I did help write it, obviously I haven't had to use it for myself. So I've always just stuck to the one car choice change per season when I was racing as part of this series. Obviously we are now back just... Yeah, I agree, Craig. I think it would be great to see Ricey up on that podium. You know, builds more, you know, shows really the depth and strength of the field, and the fact that, you know, making a good car choice at the right sort of track really helps you out. And we always want to see different people on the podium, as we see Kimmer in. Not totally unexpected from those medium tyres, which have absolutely fallen off a cliff. Probably with 18 minutes into the race, probably we'll see him go to a set of hards and go to the end of the race. I don't think he's going to need any fuel, as he's still above 60, you know, above 66%, and we're about 20 minutes into the race. So he'll be off that set of tyres, and we'll see what he does next. Blue Racer up to 4-second lead, just slowly pulling away from Ricey. Tyre wear is fairly even. And it's now looking like F1's starting to get the pace in that McLaren, into the low 30s. Backus comfortably in P4. Oh, I say comfortably, sliding it round into the corkscrew. Jaganat setting his personal best lap time last time around. But yeah, I think the real surprise for myself personally has been how kind of weak the McLarens have been. This is a car which has been, you know, so strong at so many different racetracks. You know, it's a bit of a surprise to see it weak here. I thought its balance of good handling, great acceleration, and good top end. You know, as much as top end is about as as important as a pair of jam trousers. You know, around here. But yeah, the McLarens haven't been strong. Trophies have looked, you know, as good as expected. Handling car at a mostly handling circuit. The Huracans look really good in the hands of H-Boss, and will return to form after, you know, looking pretty excellent in the qualifying series. He's just had a couple of unfortunate races that dropped him back, but this is looking like a much cleaner affair for H-Boss, and we'll pick up some good points. Glaive, I think, also demonstrating how that kind of McLaren issues have kind of come into this. Not had the pace expected, I think, for a lot of these drivers. Dennis up in P8 now, leading Tier 2, and Boljob is currently last place in Tier 1. Our almost winner last time out, and he's down at the back today, so a real surprise, I think, for everybody here tonight. Mark in 10th place. And yep, as expected, Kimmer has come out on the hard tyres. Looks like he didn't take any fuel, so yep, he is going to be running to the end. As long as he keeps that car clean, he should set good lap times, could make this work. Could be on for a Tier 2 win. Back at the front, and Ricey has got that gap down to 3 seconds. Ooh, I'm interested now, Greg. You may be correct. Oh, it is. Well, you know, doesn't matter. When one has many liveries to make, one makes small errors. Back with Blue Racer. Like I say, 3 second gap. So yeah, Ricey's kind of pushing on now. Blue Racer. Just interesting. Relative tyres about the same. Ah, yes, absolutely. Whoever that person may be, but yeah, Luco, I agree. Ricey and H-Boss looking really good. Blue having a couple of poor laps here. Ricey really coming back into this. I'll be interested to see if that pace can pick back up for. We see a best lap from Ricey. I think Ricey's responding to F1 behind, and really bringing that gap down. And you know, Ricey may be on for this. You know, if he can get that gap back down to 8 tenths, 9 tenths of a second, don't rule him out for a win here. Really hope he keeps this on the island and keeps pushing, because that pace has been great. Bacchus is absolutely setting the timing screens alight. 29.5 now, absolutely flying in that McGann Trophy. Gapping Jaganat in the McLaren. And F1 isn't looking, as feisty as he was a couple of laps ago. Of course, he may have made a small error. Yeah, really interesting to see how these cars are all kind of progressing through the stint. The tyres are... 2.3, 2.4. I would be surprised if the Supra needs to manage fuel. It's one of the most fuel-efficient cars in the class. It could do a zero-stop strategy at high speed ring. And I think, again, the fuel may be very limited here. Unlimited for the Toyotas tonight. Jag... just using that a little bit more. Yeah, I agree. Blue is pushing on. And Ricey's had a slightly less strong lap time. Of course, had a 29.6 last time. But we have seen this kind of cyclic way of... Yeah, no. Ah, yes, that makes more sense. But yeah, I think a kind of cyclic feeling to the tyres. The hards they're good for a couple of laps, and then you have to take a lap off. And then they're good for a couple of laps, and then you have to push them on again. Yeah, F1 again, suddenly back in the mid-30s. Really bizarre sort of behaviour these tyres have. They can be quite quick, the hards, in short spurts. Jaganat looking very consistent there, outside of that error he made on lap 13. H-Boss just starting to drop off. Of course, he's going to be slightly using his front tyres more because of the four-wheel drive system in the Huracan. He's looking comfortable. Bottle is a long way off. Oh, he had a mistake on lap 14. Yeah, very interesting to see what's happened there. He's 12 seconds off the back of Dennis. So just a real day to forget for Bottle. I think we'll be seeing him probably drop this score, you'd expect. Kimmer looking reasonable. We'll see what he does pace-wise. Oh, there's a nice jump over the sausage there. Blue has responded now. he's back into the 29.9, so it's reacting to the difference in pace. Blue still carefully managing this race. Definitely the driver I would expect to probably come out of this one with a win. We have seen Blue make mistakes in the past, but very rarely. Yeah, I agree. Bottle did look like he was trying to kind of clean the tyres up and like I say, let the other cars through a little bit. I think he's very much aware that he's kind of out and running for a good result currently. He'll take the 8th place points and I think run with that. Just stay on board with the races. So yeah, right. Blue's pulling away again. So I think maybe just a couple of laps of poor tyres. We should see everyone in probably at around 40 minutes in if they're going to be pitting for a set of soft tyres or something, or 45 minutes in for a set of softs. Yeah, I believe so. With the real tyre wear or track edge setting, I believe the tyres do model some level of sandy gunk, just poor grip for a couple of laps after any sort of runoff. So we would expect lap times to suffer. We'll have a quick little. A bit of smoke from a car? No, I think we're okay. Yeah, lap 17 looks like Bottle did have a mistake on that lap. So that's probably why he fell so far back off. Went off, and now is with the guys at the back. Kimmer having pitted early. He's just getting used to those hard tyres. See how he does pace-wise. Blue. Yeah, Blue's now pulling away again quite comfortably. Yes, that Supra never looks like it's very, very comfortable to drive. It always seems to be understeering. I think, Craig, that may be because yours are always a bit dirty. I do tend to. I notice it in ACC a little bit. It does clean. It does take a. It's a less pronounced effect, but it takes longer to clean off in my opinion. It feels like at least the tyres take a good 2-3 laps to come back in as Ricey dips a wheel into the gravel for us. This is definitely the most tame of the races so far. Not seeing as many kind of multiple lap battles, but that's the nature of this circuit. It can be very difficult to kind of find a way to sustain an attack on another driver. Very easy to kind of, as the lead car, dictate the terms of engagement, sort of, and that sort of thing. I think it can be a struggle here sometimes to really get the jump on another driver. Absolutely far out, edge of technology there. Hey, Greg. Gears all the way. H-Boss there, still doing a great job in P6. It's kind of unfortunate that H-Boss is having his best performance as we see Ricey in at the halfway mark, so that's interesting. We've seen this strategy from a few drivers, Senna being the biggest proponent of it. Definitely interesting that Ricey gives up the track position in P2, sorry. Will drop a long way down. He has got over 50% fuel, so we won't see him needing to refuel. It's just he'll move on to a new set of hard tyres. It's interesting that he didn't try and go another 5 minutes or 10 minutes to try and move on to a mediums. He's staying with hard tyres, I believe, and he is why is he putting fuel in? He doesn't need that. No, Ricey! You didn't need that fuel. Oh, that's unfortunate. We're at over 50% of the race, and that was extra fuel you didn't need, buddy. He is going to be out in P8, just ahead of Jules. But Jules, of course, in Tier 2. I've seen Mark fall a little bit off. I think he's had a mistake. A couple of poor laps. Pretty worn out hard tyres also on the front there. Bottle job down to pit. Oh, hello. Another mistake for Bottle, I think. 148. So a bit of a nightmare drive for Bottle today. Yeah, he's very much seeing this as I'll drop these points, come back at a better track. Bottle has said before this is not a track for him. Doesn't particularly enjoy it. Missed the last time we came here. So yeah. Blue comfortably. Oh, a couple of poor laps I suppose. Blue on lap 19:20. That is comfortably out ahead. 5-second lead. F1 Bacchus absolutely tearing it up now. I'm interested to see what Bacchus can do here. That car seems to not be tearing those tyres up at all. And if Bacchus can make this work, I think Bacchus might try and do a no-stop. I mean, obviously, we'll have to see how that would work out, but he's at great pace. Fastest car on track at points. And definitely, if he can get an overtake done, as we see H-Boss now looking down the inside. Oh, bit of contact there, boys. Keep it clean, keep it clean. Definitely felt like a bit of a push to pass there from H-Boss. He did have a bit of an overlap, but it may have been a little bit on the limit. It's still fantastic drive from H-Boss, and he does make it work. A little bit touring cars there. As car 44 goes past car 4. Dennis there in P6, of course P1 currently for Tier 2. Another trophy looking good. I'm really interested to see what happens with Bacchus here. Can he find a way past F1? Yep, Craig, I agree. That did seem a little spicy, didn't it? I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought that was a little bit on the line. H-Boss has looked quick. I think the McLarens are burning their tyres. I think Ricey didn't need to pit off those tyres, he chose to. Jules has looked very comfortable in that car. Of course, last minute confirmation that he'd drive. So he got that spot. And it's looked pretty, not particularly quick, but comfortable and got the job done. Mark in the Aston, really struggling with that front right tyre now. Through all those left-hand corners. Indeed. Kimmer just tootling around at the back at the moment. We'll see how he kind of moves on once all the pit stops have shaken out. Look good on the medium tyres, but I think he's struggling with these harder tyres. But kept it clean so far. As we go back on board with Blue. Got a nice comfortable 5-second gap at the moment. Bacchus has had an error, so that kind of tear he was on is now unfortunately he's dropped back off the back of F1. F1 who can't quite mount a charge, I think, on Blue. He's just that little bit too far back and can't really consistently gain the ground. At the moment, it is looking all rosy for Blue. That would be back-to-back wins. see if Bacchus can bring that back in. I mean, H-Boss has absolutely gone on a tear. Still in the 130.5s, absolutely top of the pace charts. Only 10 seconds off the lead. Really good job. I mean, Dennis has looked fantastic as well tonight. Actually, talking about drivers who look good. Just interested to see the gap between Jules and Dennis. Dennis hasn't pitted yet, of course, so doubt these guys are going to go for a zero-stop race. Blue still in those mid-30s. F1 drops back. Bacchus has dropped back on the pace as well, so I think the hard tyres are starting to come to the end of their kind of lengthy but in the end exhaustible lifespan of being quick. A lot of wear on those tyres now. A lot less wear on Bacchus's tyres, and this is what I mean. I think Bacchus could be there with the pace. He's just not quite, got that consistency to be able to attack lap after lap, and he's dropped off. And of course, the trophy is a really hard car to try any overtakes with. It never really gets on with trying to overtake. It's a car really designed for kind of good qualifying, push out ahead and win the race that way. It's not a good battling car. Bit of a gap back to Dennis. I hadn't noticed that gap. But yeah, we'll jump back up towards the front of the field. Blue looking strong again. He's got the gap up to 6.5 seconds, looking to start lapping Kimaru, number 130.3. Yeah, Blue has got the pace when he needs it. 31.2. 30.4, so Bacchus is still in there with the pace. But those couple of errors have really pushed him back from what was looking like quite a threatening position on F1, and I think if he'd been able to sustain that, he could have maybe found a way to push forward again. But Bacchus in that P3 spot. But H-Boss is, giving him what for at this point, and has really come into this. And I think there's a chance here H-Boss can get himself on the podium, which would be, quite frankly, amazing work. Against almost all the tier 1 title contenders, and he's up there for a chance to be on that podium against ahead of two contenders for the title is fantastic work for a guy in his first season of ADEC, let alone first season of tier 1. He's our first ever immediate driver in tier 1, thanks to the new qualifying trial system. I think F1's just trying to bank these points. He had a miserable round 2 with an input issue with the haptic feedback, and last round got a little bit messed over by the strategy getting ruined during the being stuck on the wrong tyres at the start. And I think if he'd been able to run the race he wanted to, I think he could have won that one quite comfortably. From the pace we saw of him at the end of stints, seemed to really have that pace that others weren't able to sustain. We've seen this before from F1. He's just mega consistent throughout the stints. Blue now dealing a little bit of dirty air from Kimaru, but Kimaru is a very fair racer. He'll let him through at a safe opportunity once Blue's close. There you go. As always, Kimaru showing himself to be an absolute sportsman, and one of the pillars of the drivers' community, and as always, a great competitor. He knows his race isn't with the leader, and he's back straight out of the way. Something about that Supra just always looks like it's steering from behind the front axle. Maybe it's the long overhang on the nose, but to me it always looks like it's understeering like a pig. F1 in the McLaren. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I can't decide who I'm going to give driver of the race to. At the moment, definitely H-Boss. He's driven right up to the back of P3, knocking on the door of the podium. Of course, Blue, very strong performance. Very strong drive in that Super car, which may not have had the ultimate pace at high speed ring. He did set pole in it, but it doesn't have quite as good top end as the McLaren. Oh, Blue trying to push it a little too hard there. That would have been a shock if that had snapped round. He's going to have slightly dirty tyres. Blue looking very comfortable now. We're already 41 minutes into this race. We're going to probably lap 40 tonight. We see Blue tick off another victory in Tier 1. Very much one of his best. That early error. A chance for maybe Luco to sneak it. Well, Luco made an error and then unfortunately had that screen freeze that took him out of the race. I'll be very much hoping that doesn't happen again. F1, I think, is very much settling for second at this point. He doesn't have the fuel probably to do this on a zero stop. Yeah, I think Ricey very much, unless everyone starts to pit in the next couple of laps for soft tyres. But I don't think anyone wants to be that first person to blink. That's the thing, Ricey's blinked. I've caught my unfortunate time for having to slow down for a penalty, but Ricey blinked for the tyres. He's not really been much quicker on the new set of tyres, and yeah, it's really put him down the field. I mean, he's going to be in 6th position overall, and a lot of these guys, I don't know if they're going to pit, and it's a real shame because Ricey was well and truly up there. Could have had a chance to win this one, and yeah, just the wrong strategy. We saw the wrong strategy happen to Blue. He was the guinea pig of the soft tyre, medium tyre, hard tyre, high speed ring, and really cost himself a chance to win there. That was in the very first race of this new era, and Camaro staying with him. That's very interesting. Has Blue had a problem? I think Blue's had a mistake. Blue's had a mistake. That gap's dropped by 4 seconds. Yeah, that's a mistake from Blue. 4 seconds off his pace. Camaro all over his back bumper again, and I think Blue maybe got a little bit comfortable there. Took the foot off the gas, and he's made an error because that's a lot of time to give up. And remember, I don't know if these guys are going to pit. They may pit at the end of this kind of 45-minute section, but does Blue want to give up that lead? I certainly wouldn't. I mean, look how much fuel he's got in the bank. He can easily make it to the end on fuel, but those tyres are really starting to give up. And if he's making, serious errors like that, he's got to be really careful. Oh, hits the sausage there. Just about gets away with it. And this is what I mean. I think he's starting to struggle in that car. F1 sensing an opportunity. He's pushing harder again. So here we go again, boys. Just as it all seemed like it was getting a little bit settled down, are we going to see a little change in fortunes? H-Boss has been sat on the back of that trophy for about 10 laps now. The trophy, which is like the worst car in a straight line, and H-Boss can't find a way past it because these straights aren't quite long enough. I'm really interested to see. Here's Blue struggling on those old tyres. Oh! And Boss is off! Backus is off! Was that contact with Boss? That was very spicy. We've seen H-Boss already do an interesting manoeuvre. That one, we didn't quite catch the start of that. H-Boss on the outside, on the inside through Rainy Bend. I'm sure that's Rainy Bend. Yeah, H-Boss has got his podium, but was that a little bit more spicy contact? That would be a real shame if he gets himself some penalties today because he's been... Oh, now contact between Bacchus and Jag. Bacchus doing the right thing. Doesn't look like any damage. So it's all fair and love and bumpy cars. But yeah, just I think a little bit of dirty tyres there. But Bacchus doing the right thing. Down to 5th place though. What a shame. Both the McGanns are now running line of stern. It does look like Blue has stabilised his gap again. Agree, Craig. Obviously, you know, we didn't have all the angles and we're not going to pass judgment on it at this time. It did look like that, but you know, we can't be certain, and I don't want to paint anyone with a certain brush. It would be a real shame though if he does get himself a 30-second time penalty in a race which is, you know, been his best showing by far. Always important to make sure you don't have any contact. Yeah, I'm really interested now. Is Blue pushing a little harder? Definitely feels like everyone's pushing hard on this last 15 minutes. You know, tyres are definitely wearing out for all these guys. Yeah, no, I can completely agree with that. If there was contact there, it's one of the worst places to come off the track as well. You know, I can't imagine. Yes, Craig, you're known for being, you know, the most stoic of characters. I can't speak either. I'm known for being, you know, a little fiery in the cockpit sometimes. Look at that, 7 seconds lost. You know, it's a lot of time to lose. Sand here is like a quagmire. H-Boss really trying to push it though now. Blue recovering after that mistake. This is really close. All it's going to take is an error from Blue and he loses that gap, and then, you know, who knows what's going to happen. And F1 could sneak himself a victory here. I'd be really amazed. This is a fantastic, you know, climax to this race. Is the front tyres, you know, we kind of saw this last time out. The Mercedes AMG that Bottle was driving really was struggling with front tyre wear on the medium tyres, and the McLaren was much better because it wasn't front limited. F1's McLaren, you know, from the tyre wear, I apologise for a lot of flicking back, but the tyre wear is looking very much like it would be, you know, all fairs and love and war, but definitely feels like Blue is struggling a little bit more. Although, lovely line through Blue through there, I think, because he pulled a 10th or so. But this middle part of the lap, F1's looking quick. They're both so tight on lap time now, it's really hard to tell. Maybe Blue's got it back under control. And, yeah, this track is like that, you know. The moment you kind of let off or give yourself a break, it's so hard to... It's so easy to make that mistake and cost yourself so much time, and you really can't make that time back around here. Oh, millimeters away from the peril there. It's just so easy to just snag a break or get a downshift wrong. You know, this game is so reliant on engine braking in a very aggressive sense. Not like ACC where your downshifts have to be beautifully timed and your engine braking is really important in that way. Here it's all about spamming those gear shifts and, you know, getting down the... Oh! Well, I thought Blue was going wide there. It's F1 going wide there. Like I say, that Supra always completely tricks me. It looks like it's understeering by a yard every single lap. Backer's right up behind Jagger. He did this like half the race ago. That's got to be so frustrating. You know, he looked so quick early on in the race. As he goes for a dive, I think Jag will give it to him. That was, you know, a clean move. Got it down the inside. Jag having a little look onto the dirt there, but I think Bacchus will take that P4 now. We've got 10 minutes of this race left. Should see us through to about lap 40. And it is still this man out in front. He's led from the start. the exception of a couple of laps behind a Dodge Viper. But that Dodge was ill-fated. Supra, despite a small nerf, is still looking strong, and I think this will put Blue Racer at the top of the standings for, I think, possibly the first time in his ADEC Tier 1 career that he'll be at the top of the standings. He's had great pace in every race, you know, this season, even with a car which maybe wasn't suited, and is starting to stake his claim at a chance of a championship here. This has been his most consistent, most patient run. Really has been working hard to kind of iron out those mistakes which plagued him so heavily in earlier campaigns. But he's still less than 2 seconds ahead. A snag brake, touch of the car. Oh, talk about snag brakes. That's a wide line. And that gap down to 1.7. He's got to be careful here. Of course, that car is now heavier. You know, it's been heavier basically throughout the whole race. H-Boss is pushing F1 along as well. You know, you've got to make sure we keep that in mind. You know, F1 can't take his foot off the gas for one moment. He's got to be pushing hard because H-Boss has got all that pace at the moment, despite having a four-wheel drive car, which historically hasn't been great for tyres. Yeah, we're looking really good for H-Boss in terms of pace, but obviously a couple of possible incidents hanging over his head if they get flagged. Blaze looked very strong in the second half of this lap. Oh, just cuts that inside, and all it takes is a momentary lapse of concentration. A much better run through there this time, I think. The power smoother. Gets the better run this time. It's just counting those laps down. 4 laps to go, maybe 5. Oh, F1. I think that's probably F1 blown his chances. You saw him sliding off into the gravel, and that gap's now up to 3 seconds again. I think that's probably given the blue the cushion. He can just not worry so much now. It would require an absolutely amazing kind of fight now. He'd have to find a second per lap pretty much. Blue's still kicking up dust out of that corner. Oh, a slide. Lucky that's not a more highly powered car. We've seen errors through there. And errors through the corkscrew before in the more highly powered cars. Especially if you clip that inside curb the first part of the bus stop. That's where Blue made his error way back in Group 1, back in Season 3, I believe, of ADEC, 2021. Oh, just keeps it out of the gravel there. Comfortable drive for Blue now. F1's really struggling on tyres and fuel. He gave it one last push, but I think back up to 4 seconds now. He'll have to think about the... Oh! Blue just cannot help himself. Trying to clean off those tyres. Oh, imagine if he'd thrown it off then. That would have been the commentator's curse for certain. Just said he looks clean and, you know, clear to go to the end, and would have thrown it off. That would have been unfortunate. Luckily he keeps it all clear. The gap is coming back up, so he should be A-okay. to go. H-Boss still looking quick, just behind F1. Whoa! H-Boss hitting that gravel. Oh, a little bit of understeer. That's not what you want. I think F1's probably pushed that fuel a little too hard, and he's still going to get the best part of 3 laps out of that car. So that's going to be tight. Backus is just a little bit ahead of Jaganac again. Ricey in P6 picks up another small penalty. It's Bottle Job who's picked up the fastest lap of the race. He's stuck a set of soft tyres on to go and steal it. To be fair, understandable thing to do. Almost a lap. Oh, he's over a lap now. Overtaken in the pits. We'll run back through the field one last time. Ricey in P6, Flav in P7, very quiet race. Dennis in P1 for Tier 2, P2 for Jules in 9th, P3 for Mark, P4 for Kamaru, and P8 for... Yes, P8 for Otto in Tier 1. Blue comfortably pushing it around the final couple of laps. Zero stop race. Second time we've seen the zero stop race probably win. We've seen this in tier 2 in round 1. I think with the after what we saw Berkey do, I think the zero stop strategy has now become a little bit popular. See everyone still trying to make that fuel get to the end. That's not going to be easy. F1 could really run out of fuel here on the last lap. He's still going to get effectively 2 laps out of that car. I think F1's pushed it a little too hard. I think his eyes opened up and he was very much like, I could win this. Yeah, I think everyone who's pitched really regrets it today. I think Ricey could have had a chance at a win here without that pit stop. We've seen a lot of errors from Blue. You know, that 4-second error. He wasn't far off. I think F1's going to run out of fuel here. I think that Macca can't do the fuel. That's not going to happen. Yeah, F1's having to put it into serious fuel conserve. And H-Boss is just going to take it from him. He'll have the gap, obviously, to back us, thanks to the earlier issues. We'll put it that way. Yeah, H-Boss still in the 30s. I think H-Boss has looked very strong. Really showed the promise that he had. But Blue got that gap. Can just take it easy. So yeah, H-Boss provisionally looking very good in P2. But obviously had a couple of incidents. Know for certain if he's going to be able to hold on to that. He could get a huge amount of penalty time for those issues. So we'll see if they get protested. F1, he's just going to have to cruise that home. Just probably could have done with a bit more fuel management, but the McLaren is bad on fuel. Backus, what could have been really for him, it's another solid result in P4. Jag in P5. Very much just racking up the points. I think this will be a race that Jag will try and drop. Just like last week, a couple of tracks that haven't really suited him in the car choice. Jag obviously had the pole last time out, but in the race pace, the GTR kind of didn't quite have it. Ricey, I mean, he's 30 seconds off the lead and he lost 30 seconds in the pit stop, so in my head, he probably could have won this race. Obviously, he probably doesn't want to hear that. Still a great drive to 6th position. But yeah, I think probably didn't have the time to practice. Maybe the no stop, didn't realise it was going to be on the cards, and really kind of put himself off the top step. Dennis wins in Tier 2, with Jules taking a lovely P2. Mark will take P3, and Kimmer has finished in P4. Bottle Job will not be the first to finish. It will be Blue, who is going to comfortably take the victory, well ahead of his championship rivals. Another great drive from Blue. Congratulations. H-Boss in P2 for now. Good work from him. And F1 having just run out of fuel as he crossed the line, takes P3. Backus into P4. He'll be kind of licking his wounds. P5 for Jag, drives it into a wall. Ricey with P6, drifting out the final couple of corners. He knows probably he had a pace for a podium today. He'll go away, think about his strategy. And Vlave is just coming up to the final couple of corners. Pretty anonymous race in P7, but that's not always a bad thing. Gets himself some points and got the job in P8. A lap down in the other McLaren. Unfortunate, kind of didn't have the pace today. Got fastest lap of the race. So there is our finish. Blue Racer takes the win. He'll take another 105 points, I believe. 102 points. 104 points. 104 points. Away from today. H-Boss. Probably his best drive he could have imagined for. Really good drive, but like I say, he needs to tidy up those overtakes. I think he could be seeing some protests this weekend. Flying in for both those overtakes. One on Jag and one on Backus. F1 possibly could have won this race if it wasn't for the poor fuel. But didn't quite have the pace. McLaren wasn't the car here, very obvious. Backus, I think, could have won this race as well. Had a poor-ish start to the race, didn't really come through until quite late on. I think the trophy got a little bit swamped at the start. But Jagging at P5, like I've already said, definitely not a great drive for himself in terms of points, but kept his nose clean. For the most part, didn't have anything to really worry about. Had a couple of good battles, but this isn't the position he needs to be in to be fighting for that championship, and he'll be having to assess for next week, which will be, I believe, Spa in the Group 2s. So thank you everybody for watching another great round of the ACE Lift Design Endurance Championship, and we look forward to next time out in 2 weeks at Spa-Francorchamps. The legendary circuit in the Group 2s. We've seen those already once at Deep Forest, and we should expect some seriously fun action, potentially with some weather as well, depending on what it looks like in real life. Anyway, thank you very much all for your attention this evening. I hope you all have a great long weekend if you're in the United Kingdom, and if you're not, I hope you have a great end to your week, as it's Friday tomorrow, and then have a great weekend. Catch you guys all later. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.